This is a group ride. I got this off the 650R forums. And this group is going to go riding for about 3 hours, and then we're going to stop at a go-karting place. And from what I can tell, it's some sort of indoor go-kart place. So that should be fun. Hopefully they'll let us wear our own helmets, and I'll get some first-person go-karting footage. So we are at the Shell station, just a common meeting ground. This is Angeles Crest. Over there is the Foothill Boulevard. I just saw a ton of paramedics and police cars roar up the road because someone probably wiped out and hopefully didn't get too badly injured, but it doesn't look good. Anyway, what's new? Well, I got a new chain. They put on a gold chain. I didn't really care what color. But yesterday I was looking at the chain and looking at the manual, and I measured the chain slack. Took a ruler and measured it. It's supposed to be, for this bike, 1 3/8 inch. 1 inch to 1 3/8 of an inch of slack. So you put your ruler there and you just sort of measure the bottom part of the chain and you just push it up and down. You measure it at the midpoint between there and the rear sprocket. And you just see how much play there is, and there should only be about 1 3/8 inch. So, anyway, so I took it to the store and I said, hey, I think my chain is way too loose. And I tried to loosen it, and this is the thing. Or I tried to tighten it up, but the problem is, to do that, you have to get a 27mm socket to loosen this axle nut right here. And then after that, you adjust these adjusting bolts with an 8mm socket, and I use a 22mm socket to hold this in place while you tighten the rear axle nut over here. And so by adjusting these, and there's like these little lines here, these little grooves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's a little line which is probably hard to see on the video right there. There's that line there, and that's the marker. And on the other side, you can see it says, alright, there you can see it says replace chain, new. It says these markers continue up here, and it goes into the red, you have to replace the chain. But anyway, mine looked like it was in the green, but it was really loose, and we're talking like 2 inches plus of play, and according to the manual you can actually get lower frame damage if your chain is too loose. So anyway, I took it in and I said, hey, can you tighten the chain? And the mechanic came back and said, you really should replace the chain at this point. It's been 14,000 miles and it's looking pretty rough. So, and repeated tightening of the chain to keep it within that slack tolerance. Repeated tightening is not a good thing. He said you should maybe do it a few times in its service life, but you shouldn't keep doing it because you cause extra stress on the chain. And at this point, he said, it's really time to replace it. So that's what I did. And he said it should be good for, depends on how you treat the chain, and it should be good for 8 to another 12 or 14K of distance. So, alright. So that's one of the guys I work with. Looks like we're getting ready to go. So I'm going to shut this off. First I want to say, this is the same road I've ridden before. We're going to go all the way up to Upper Big Tahunga, or UBT. And then this is ACH, Angeles Crest Highway. And we'll probably do a bit on AFH, which is Angeles Forest Highway. And maybe I'll turn on the camera a bit later, but I don't want to burn all of this video on filler. So that's my chain story. Got a new chain. And what would have happened if I hadn't replaced the chain and one day it broke? Well, if I was going at really high speed, I've heard stories of chains breaking and then whipping around and ripping up your lower leg, or just being pulled into the engine and just oil going everywhere. Well, not pulled into the engine. I'm not really sure about the mechanics of it, but oil went everywhere. And then of course your rear tire locks. And if you're going at 80 miles an hour on the freeway, your rear tire locks while you're, say, in a banking, you're banked in a turn. Well, disaster strikes, of course. So you don't want your chain to break. The chain and the tires are definitely two areas where you don't want to goof around. So those are life or death matters.